You know what it's time for? A winter hair makeover. For the last few weeks, I've been letting my hair kind of grow and fade out, trying to see what it's going to turn into. It ended up turning into probably the most unflattering shade of this minty, seafoamy blue, plus my natural roots. Two color combinations that aren't really it. My light hair has had a moment, it's grown, it's recovered, but now it is absolutely time for a massive, massive hair makeover. The summer of year is always super fun to go for a darker hair color. First of all, it's kind of symbolic. It is like a very clear transition between lighter summer months and kind of the deeper, darker and oncoming winter days. It is literally in every single girl's handy book, guidebook to girlhood. You dye your hair dark for the winter season. This is also the phase where a bunch of our hair actually starts to shed, and it is absolutely normal, but as a result, our hair can end up looking a tiny bit thinner than normal. A really good solution for that, and a very good visual trick, is to dye your hair darker so that it looks like your roots are thicker. I in particular go through so much change around this time of the winter. First of all, a ton of shedding. Absolutely normal. This is just hair that has to fall out. But because of the change in temperature, I also get a ton of dry skin. This is different than dandruff. Dandruff is a fungal reaction. Dry skin is literally your scalp feeling the drought from the change in temperature. Now, I'm not gonna go as far as saying that I'm a germaphobe, but I definitely like to keep my things clean, especially my hairbrushes. So I like to take this Clean Slate. This is literally a brush that I dropped specifically for the cleaning of hairbrushes and hair utensils. If your brushes or your tools or your combs has any of that white fluff, residue, glue, excess hair stuck on the insides of your brush, one of the best feelings is literally just cleaning it out and giving it a brand new reset. There isn't literally anything on the market that kind of does this for a paddle brush, so I wanted to create something that was sturdy enough to be able to dislodge all of that gunk, but remain skinny enough that it can fit in between the paddle brush bristle thingies. I absolutely hate dirty brushes, especially because I know exactly what it causes to the hair follicle and how it can actively prevent your hair from growing. So when I tell you this product marked such a momentous occasion for myself and my own brand, because it was the very first product that we dropped since our brushes that fit within the product category. It's also been a product that I've been glued to and has been in my kit ever since dropping. It has been such a game changer for brush cleansing and even wig cleaning. So I highly recommend it if you're also looking for something to cleanse your products. I'm going to be linking it down below in case you've also been looking for a solution for this exact problem. It is called Clean Slate, and it is literally the answer to every single one of your hair cleansing problems. Now, I know hair shedding is obviously totally normal, but I still get completely freaked out anytime I see it. The rule of thumb is as long as it's not clumps of hair, you're fine. This also tends to stop around December or January. Oh, I can already see the little flakes building on this brush. So to kind of put my mind at ease and to think about something other than my hair shedding, today I'm going to be coloring my hair. Literally have so much dandruff on me right now. Okay, I know it's normal. Dry scalp. The term dandruff has been so over-marketed that it's literally the first thing that comes to our minds. Like the minute you see a tiny bit of flaking and you're like, oh, that's dandruff. And it's not. It's usually dry skin. It's the same thing with trampoline, Tupperware, Hoover. Every single one of those is the brand name. They have all actually have product names. Very love fun facts. So I now definitely want red. And I was toying between going for more of that cherry cola red, which leans more onto a brick red, or go for that colder eggplant tone that picks up much more of a purple shade. Now, I have expressed my disdain for purple so many goddamn times. Like, I have made it clear to the point where the internet is sick of me saying sharing my thoughts about purple. And to be fair, I'm sick of me sharing it. So we're kind of not going to get into that. I do, however, know exactly which color I'm going to be coloring my hair, mainly because I know it's going to turn out so goddamn good. 699 499. The two together are going to create 599, but I don't currently have this one, so do you get the vision? I have been obsessed with this particular shade of burgundy ever since I tried it years and years ago on a very similar base of hair. And I've just seen that original video of mine. In that video, I did end up using a different brand of products, but the end outcome was still absolutely stunning, gorgeous. And I'm going to be following it very similarly today. I'm going to be starting with 499 by Schwarzkopf's Agora range. This is a permanent color and is pretty dark, but that is what gives it that incredible richness. I haven't colored my own hair in so long, I kind of forgot how much dye I typically need. I'm going to be going in with one solid hair color application from root to bottom, but it's not going to turn out uniform, and I'm going to tell you why later in the video. I'm gonna do 60 grams of product, so 30 grams of $4.99. I get my dyes direct from my distributor, but you can literally find them off of Amazon. I'm gonna link them down below. This is called Dark Blonde. Blonde Foncé Violet Extra. That's because the 6 is considered a dark blonde. The 9.9 is then violet, and the second 9 is extra. So in this case, they're literally saying we put violet and then even more violet in it to give it that very potent color. That kind of makes it easy to understand when you're working with a brand that you're not really familiar with. 30 grams, $6.99. I could have literally gotten this exact same color result by just buying $5.99 and using 60 grams of it. But I don't have. So we're improvising. 60 grams. Is 60 grams enough for a full head of dye? I don't think it's enough. I think I'm being an idiot. I think I normally do 100 grams of color and 60 grams just on the roots. Give me a sec, guys. Okay, I'm gonna put 15 grams each extra product. Okay, fuck it. I'm doing the full tube. Oops. One entire tube or 50 grams of $6.99. Ta-da! And then same amount, 20 volume developer. This is the white stuff that you always see me apply in my videos, but it is not to be confused with white conditioner that I add to my semi-permanent. The developer is literally just the product that activates the dye. If you were to apply dye onto normal hair without using a developer or an activator, you're gonna get nothing. You're gonna get very mild staining, but you're not going to get actual penetration into the hair itself. So if you're going to go for permanent color and you want to formulate from scratch, you need to get the white stuff. Otherwise, get a box kit. But box kits aren't exactly great quality. Mix. I also literally just broke this, so we're kind of improvising. I'm gonna use this spatula. I actually recently had the opportunity to go up to a Schwarzkopf seminar, which was such a surreal experience. If you've been following this channel for quite a while, you'll know that I have a really, really deep respect for the Schwarzkopf color line. I've been using it for quite a few years, and anytime I do any of my more complicated colors or anytime I want something super reliable, I'm always going for Schwarzkopf. I even use them most of the time for my wig colorings. I own a wig brand and a custom color every single wig available, and I always end up using Schwarzkopf. So I have a really great respect for them, and I was invited to attend a seminar where they showcase some of their finest talent, and it was so amazing because I got to meet not only like some of the coolest hairstylists ever, but I got to see just how fun Schwarzkopf products can be. Don't get me wrong, sometimes these seminars can be a tiny bit pretentious or a tiny bit exclusive. Everyone was wearing all black, all rigid, high heels, stilettos, sunglasses indoors, that kind of a thing. It's very well deserved, but sometimes it can feel a tiny bit elitist. So I always kind of have to take these kinds of events with a pinch of salt, just because I know that it doesn't really fit me personality-wise. I tend to be a lot more colorful when it comes to who I am and even the types of creations that I do, but it was still such a beautiful, 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 beautiful experience. And I'm happy I went because I felt a bit like a fangirl. Here's the dye. It is always so much fun seeing the dye before it's oxidized. It's going to obviously get way, 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 way darker as it slowly starts to react with the oxygen. But for now, it is looking like yogurt. Here's my hair before the color. And now we color. So the reason why I went in with one solid color, but I'm anticipating that it's going to look pretty dimensional or different on my hair, is because at the moment I have my entirely natural roots at the top, but obviously as you can see my ends are pretty blue, pretty green, something in between. Whilst permanent color is much more potent than something like demi or semi-permanent dyes, the base color still makes quite a bit of a difference in the end outcome. And if you have much blonder, lighter, whiter hair than me, then this color, even though we went in with a level 4, is going to be right. In my case, I'm anticipating that my root area is going to be lighter in general than what the little swatch showed, simply because my own hair isn't as a level 4. But then I have no idea actually what's going to happen at the blue area. Color theory tells us that if we mix a purple red onto a blue, we're just going to get more of a purple. But at the same time, permanent hair color tells me that it's most likely going to cover it in its entirety. So I'm kind of expecting that up here, the color is going to be very, very, very similar to the swatch. Down here, the color is going to be a tiny bit lighter and a tiny bit bluer. Even though my hair is shedding so much, it's always very fun to see that I still have hair when I part it. Sometimes you'll be washing your hair and you're seeing all of this shedding and fallout and you're thinking, oh my god, I'm about to go bald. And I promise you that's not the case, but in the same way that I'm promising you, I kind of have to always promise myself, like, don't worry, it's just your time of the year. The first quadrant is sectioned out. I recently started dyeing my hair using this sort of an application method because I realized it gives cleaner results. And I always say color your hair in whatever way makes you feel most comfortable. I can't tell you from a professional setting, however, this just gives cleaner results. If you struggle with patchiness or you find that there are some spots in your hair that don't seem to have been colored, it might be because you need to apply your product in cleaner sections. One quadrant fully colored. You can already see how much darker the dye on my hair is compared to dye in the bowl. Recently, I learned that when a product says it's going to take 35 to 40 minutes to process, it takes 10 minutes for the hair to get darker. It takes the remaining 30 minutes for the color to develop the tone that you're after, which I thought was pretty cool. That means that in the next 10 minutes, this area will have turned brown, but it will only turn this dark purpley brown after the full 40 minutes. It's cool to figure out how things work. Okay, and before I do the rest of my ends, I need to do the roots on the back of my head. And now we color the rest of the length. I always like to give a little brush before I apply the dye, just so I know that there's no tangles or any area that might not get the dye. It's gonna look so cute. I know it's about to look so cute. It's one of those colors that it's very hard to get wrong. Plus it tends to suit a lot of skin tones, hair types, isn't really damaging. Kind of a universal unicorn. This is the before, this is the after. The dye is applied and it's turning out so good. Even the color on my gloves looks really, really good. I'm also extremely happy by the amount of dye that I mixed up because I literally went through everything. I'm gonna leave this on for another 30 minutes, wash it off, rinse it, let it air dry completely, and then be back to what is hopefully going to be the color of fall 2025. I'm so excited. I'm also kind of into whatever is going on here, but let this process and see what we end up with. I'm washing my tools and I wanted to show you how I, in particular, wash the dye from in between my brush. This is the Clean Slate and I'm literally just gonna force it off of the bristles using Clean Slate. Thing with the sides. And then this brush is ready for another use. But look at how much this poor brush has seen. Anyways, this is now clean-ish. It's stained, obviously, but it's free of dye. That's a bit better. I'm calling this look Ice Burgundy. This particular hair color is giving me such early 2000s, late 90s vibe. I don't know if it's a combination of the makeup plus the particular styling, because I don't actually think this color was popular around that time, but it is just giving me such core nostalgic vibes. The color is as rich as it is vibrant, and it has this incredibly unique way of being both brightening and obviously extremely high contrast. It is one of those really niche ways of combining a darker, more mature coloring with something that is technically seen on the rainbow. We are very much distinctly getting hints of violet and purple, but it is still so dark that it somehow complements the skin tone. As I suspected, my roots over here did take on a darker deposit of this color, blending into a slightly brighter color at the end. This is obviously a result of the discrepancy between my base color. As you saw, I did not change the color at any point. I used the same formula for my roots as I did on the ends, but because we had a different base starting point, this means that I have a ton of dimension automatically. I do really love this color. This time of year, this particular color tends to be so flattering, specifically because our summer tans tend to start fading, meaning the saturation from our face starts to fade, meaning that when combining such a rich dark color with a skin tone that is less tan, less freckled, less saturated, the combination becomes mature and subtle, versus if we were to layer this exact hair color on much tanner skin, it would be like two competing colors. That is why in the summer times we tend to go for way more pastel shades, lighter blondes, specifically because we don't want to overpower the face. This color complements that lack of saturation so much better. If you are someone who loses their tan in the winter period, or in general you do not build one as much, this color can be so complimenting. I did pair the look with color but also neutrals. I absolutely love when there is such a fun play between something that is considered neutral and not bright and something that is obviously very much color, like the color of my brows or my shadow shade. If I braided it, if I added ringlet curls, it would look so much younger, but because it's paired with quite a bit of a politician blowout sort of a look, it ends up looking super mature, which was the goal for this video. I am so incredibly pleased with how this turned out. There's zero patchiness anywhere, and as you can see, the shine on the hair is tremendous. I absolutely adore Igora. For this reason, this video is brought to you partially by my own brand, Stellari Hair. Clean Slate, the brush cleaning tool that I showed earlier, is a product of my own line. I'm going to be linking it down below, and you can also use my coupon code if you want a tiny bit off your order. If you want to continue supporting me or seeing these kinds of videos, hit the subscribe button and check out stellarihair.com. I feel like I took a bit of a hiatus from hair coloring and hair transformations, but I really do want to get back. So leave a comment down below what we should do next. Now that we are officially in our vampy season, we literally can do any of the vampire colors. I kind of want to hear what you want. All of the products that I use are going to be linked in the description box below. And as always, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you'll give it a go, and I will see you in my next video. If you want to treat yourself, check out my brand Stellari Hair for the best in luxury hair tools, wigs, and wig accessories. Designed and created right here in Malta. And if you have any suggestions for what you want to see next, comment it down below. I can't wait to see what you'll recommend.